Hi, today we will be doing a topic on solving modulus inequality. There's two ways to solve a modulus inequality. One is to do it algebraically, the other one way is to doing it graphically. Now, I prefer all of you to learn the graphical method first, because if you do the algebra method, if you are not careful, you will end up with a wrong answer. Let us start off with question 1. Modulus of 2x minus 7 is smaller than 1. Let's sketch the graph modulus of 2x minus 7. Now it cuts the x-axis at 7 over 2. Let's say it's the point here. And it cuts the y-axis at 7. So let's name this first, 7 over 2. Now this is 7. Let's say this is 7. Okay. So your line will be something like this. Okay. Now, and where is the line y equals to 1? So let's say this is the line y equals to 1. Now this is y equals to 1. Alright. Now, you want this graph modulus of 2x minus 7 to be smaller than 1. Now, for this to be smaller than 1, this will be equals to 1 at these 2 points, alright? The intersection. This graph will be equals to 1. But you want it to be smaller than or equals to 1, then x has to take this value here. Okay? Now, so we need to find these 2 points. Okay, so x will be in between these 2 points. So how to find the value of these 2 points? You can find the intersection of y equals to 1 with this graph and this graph. Now what is the equation of this graph? This has a negative gradient. So this graph here will be y is equals to minus 2x plus 7. This graph here will be y equals to 2x minus 7. Okay, so let's find this point first. So you have minus 2x plus 7 is equals to 1. Okay, so you got 6 here is equals to 2x. So x is equals to 3. So this point here is 3. Okay, let me use a different color here. Now how to find this point? This point will be 2x minus 7 equals to 1. Okay, let me just write here. 2x minus 7 is equals to 1. So you have 2x is equals to 8. So x is equals to 4. So this point is 4 over here. So x will be, your final answer will be x is in between 4 and 3 inclusive. Alright, because you have a equal sign over here. Here will be 4 and here will be 3. Okay. Now let's move on to question 2. you have modulus of x minus 1 is smaller than 2x minus 1. This time you don't have the equal sign. So let's draw this graph. Modulus of x minus 1. It cuts the x-axis at 1 and the y-axis at 1 also. So your line will be something like this. Okay. Now this graph here, what is the equation of this? This has a positive gradient, all right? This is a negative gradient. So this graph will be y equals to minus x plus 1. This graph will be y is equals to x minus 1. Now let's draw this graph y equals to 2x minus 1. It cuts the x-axis at 1. Minus 1, I mean. So this is minus 1. Let's say this point is minus 1. Okay. Now, this gradient here is steeper. So it will be, it has a gradient of 2, whereas this is a gradient of 1. Alright. So this point here is half actually, but it doesn't really matter. Okay, I just draw a line steeper. Now, this is not a modulus graph, so this line will be a straight line. Alright, this is a straight line. So this graph is y is equals to 2x minus 1. Now you want the modulus graph to be less than 2x minus 1. So less than 2x minus 1, it has to fall below 2x minus 1. So the value of x will be here. Okay? Now, so how to find this intersection point? So you equate this graph with this graph here. So you have 2x minus 1 is equals to minus x plus 1. So you bring over, you got 3x is equals to 2. X is equals to 2/3. Alright. So this point here is 2/3. You want x to be greater than 2/3. So your answer will be, there's no equal sign. Alright. So your final answer will be x greater than 2/3. Okay. Now let's move on to question 3 and 4. Question 3. Modulus of 3x plus 2 is greater than modulus of 2x minus 5. Let us sketch this graph modulus of 3x plus 2 first. Now it cuts the x-axis at minus 2/3 and the y-axis at 2. Now, let's now draw modulus of 2x minus 5. It cuts the x-axis at 5/2. And the y-axis at 5. Right? Now, you want this graph, the modulus of 3x plus 2 to be greater than 2x minus 5. So you will take this part of the graph. Alright. Now for this, you will take the left hand side because you want this graph to be greater than this one. So over here, the blue line is higher than the orange line. So you will take this part of the graph, not inclusive of these two dots because there's no zero there. I mean no equal sign. So it's a open circle. Now let's find the coordinates of these 2 points. Now what is the equation of this graph? Now this graph has a negative gradient. So this one would be y is equals to minus 2x plus 5. This one will be 3x plus 2. Alright, so this is y equals to 3x plus 2. This is y is equals to minus 3x minus 2. Okay, let's find the coordinates of this point first. So you equate this graph to this graph. So you have 3x plus 2 is equals to minus 2x plus 5. Now, you bring this over, you have 5x minus 2 on both sides, so you got 3. So x is equals to 3 over 5. So you have 3 over 5 here. Now let's find the coordinates of this point. You have minus 3x minus 2 is equals to minus 2x plus 5. Okay, plus 3x on both sides. You got x. Minus 5 on both sides. You got minus 7 here. Okay. So this point here is minus 7. Now, x takes the, so what is the answer for the solution of x? Now, so x must be smaller than 7 or greater than 3 over 5. So you have x is smaller than minus 7 or x is greater than 3 over 5. And that is the final answer to question number 3. Question 4. Modulus of 2x plus 3 minus modulus of x plus 4 is greater than 2. Now, it's not so easy to draw this graph. It will be easier if we shift this mod over to this side. So let's do it. So you have modulus of 2x plus 3 will be greater than or equals to modulus of x plus 4 plus 2. Okay? Now let's draw this graph. This one first. Let's draw the one on the left. Now 2x plus 3. So it cuts the x-axis at minus 3 over 2. And the y-axis at 3. So your graph will look something like that. Okay? Next, let's draw this. Now, the minimum point or the vertex of this graph is at minus 4, 2. How I get minus 4 is just like completing the square. I have covered that in the graphing of the modulus function. Now, so minus 4 is here and 2. So it will be something like that. Okay. Now you want this modulus, the one in blue, to be greater than the one in orange. You want the one in blue to be greater than the one in orange. So you take this part of the graph. Okay, and there's an equal sign, so it's a close up 0. So let's find the coordinates of these 2 points. Now what is the equation of this graph? This is minus 2x minus 3 because it has a gradient of, it has a negative gradient, whereas this one it has a positive gradient. So this graph will be y is equals to 2x plus 3. Now, to find this point, you equate this graph to this graph. And this graph is x plus 4 plus 2. So it will be x plus 4 plus 2 is equals to minus 2x minus 3. Okay? Now this is 6. You bring that over, it becomes 3. You minus, this is 6. Alright, you minus 6 on both sides, so you got minus 9 here. You got minus 2x, you plus 2x on both sides, so you got 3x. So x is equals to minus 3. So this point is minus 3. Now, what is the coordinate of this point? Now, you equate this graph, alright? This is x plus 4 plus 2. So it's x plus 4 plus 2, okay? Is equals to this graph, 2x plus 3. Minus x on both sides, so you got x. Alright, now you minus 3 on both sides, so this is 6, then minus 3, you got 3. So this point is 3. Alright, now this is, you find that this is positive, but because we are doing a sketch, right, so this kind of thing may happen. Right, it happened to be this side, but because we never draw it to scale. Okay. Now, so what is the final answer? The final answer will be x is greater than or equals to 3, or x is smaller than or equals to minus 3. Okay, for that we have come to the end of this video. Thank you for watching, and if you like our video, please press the subscribe button.